Hey guys, welcome to Boxing Squared for boxing news and views from around the internet. The Saudis are looking to make another attempt at making Tyson Fury vs Anthony Joshua, even if Fury loses to Alexander Usyk in their rematch at the end of this year. Now, this is a fight that's been percolating for the best part of 5 or 6 years. It's one of these few fights that, if it doesn't happen, we're all going to say that was one that got away. It almost got made with Daniel Kinahan's involvement a couple of years ago, but Tyson Fury had to honour his contract with Deontay Wilder for the third fight. So it never happened, despite obviously there being a thirst for it. And perhaps now both these guys slightly past their primes, the best of their primes, maybe slightly on the downhill now, but it's still a good fight. They're still good fighters. And regardless of what happens in their upcoming fights, Dubois versus Joshua, Tyson Fury versus Alexander Usyk, I think this is a huge domestic clash in the United Kingdom and a very significant fight for the heavyweight division. It's one of the 3 or 4 fights that we wanted to get made from the big names that have been around in this generation. You know, obviously featuring Deontay Wilder, Anthony Joshua, and Tyson Fury. We've seen Tyson Fury now face Alexander Usyk, face Deontay Wilder 3 times, but Joshua versus Wilder didn't happen, Joshua versus Fury didn't happen, and they're kind of, you know, what-if type scenarios. Had they have happened, what would have happened? So for this to potentially come back onto the table, I think many fans, even though they might think it's perhaps, you know, a few years past its sell-by date, still would believe this is a very good fight, and we can kind of settle the beef, squash it. You know, there's a lot of fans on both sides of that argument, the real fanatics that advocate for both of their fighters. So in terms of what the Saudis are saying, Turki Alalshikh talking to TalkSport, he says, where are we? For the business, of course, it will be a huge fight if Joshua wins. His third time winning a world title and the result of Usyk vs Fury, it will be a huge fight. But you don't know about the future. Imagine if Tyson, after the fight with Usyk, wants to retire. I will give him the offer, but if he refuses, what can I do? First of all, Dubois has a very big chance, and it's not easy. I think it's a difficult fight for Joshua and a dangerous fight for Joshua. If Usyk wins, still, I want to see Fury vs Joshua if they accept. I will not try to do the third fight, and in brackets between Usyk and Joshua, before having Fury versus Joshua. I think Joshua will win, but you don't know. So this is, you know, positive from the Saudis, what we've generally seen in the past year to 18 months. I guess the first 6 months of their involvement with the heavyweight division, we saw them allowing the promoters to probably make a lot of softer matchups than we wanted. They were giving a few lob-ups first. Guys were taking huge paydays against fighters that potentially we didn't really want to see them in against. But this year, it's basically been all thriller, no filler. And if we were to get, you know, obviously Dubois and Joshua, that's a very good fight. 2 top 10 heavyweights, Usyk and Fury competing for 3 of the 4 belts. The other belt has been dropped by Usyk, is going to be on the line versus Joshua and Dubois. So potentially, I guess, if Joshua wins and then Fury wins, we could end up having an undisputed fight between those two. But I guess if Fury loses that fight to Usyk, would he walk away? We've seen him lose in that first fight. I know he says he won that fight and he bossed it, all that sort of stuff. He's got to tell himself that, obviously mentally, to get him up for that second fight. So regardless though, you know, I like the signals from Turki Alalshikh that even if Fury loses, that he still wants to make that. I actually have very little appetite to see Joshua and Usyk for a third time at this point. Even if Fury loses and it's a similar result where, you know, it's a 7-5, 8-4 type of fight, Usyk takes it, it's sort of competitive in spots, seesawing like that first fight, I wouldn't mind seeing Joshua and Fury. And I think for the state of boxing in this era, we kind of need that fight. It's one of those ones that we're going to say we missed it and we should have got it when they were maybe not at their best anymore, but they're still pretty close to their primes, maybe a year or two removed each respectively. I think Fury seemingly is also, doesn't have the legs that he once had. Joshua is adapted a different style, especially from the earlier days, more technical, but Fury, longer and taller, could jab with him. Regardless, it's a very good fight, regardless of who you think would win that fight. And it's one that I think we should have before it's all said and done. Joshua and Wilder, that fight, that's probably gone now that Deontay Wilder looks like he's completely shot. That's one that passed us by. Could have happened in 2018, 2019, there or thereabouts. Egos got involved. But with the Saudis seemingly clearing out some of the hurdles and the obstacles and smoothing the way, greasing the way with money, making promoters work together, they're all making money together. It's not so adversarial. This fight could potentially happen. But at the end of the day, if Tyson Fury loses for a second time, or even if he wins, would he go, okay, well, I'm retiring now? As it is, Alexander Usyk dropping that IBF belt has denied Tyson Fury to become undisputed if he were to win this rematch. So, Fury would have to do more to get undisputed, be that against Joshua if he beats Usyk, or be that against Daniel Dubois. So there could be the carrot there regardless for Tyson Fury, because he does like to sort of say some of the stuff doesn't matter, but money and legacy, he sort of flip-flops between the two of them, but clearly they're important to him. So I like the tenor of the comments that I'm hearing, and if this was to happen in the first part of 2025, regardless of the outcome of their next fights, even if Joshua loses to Daniel Dubois and Fury lost to Usyk, they could still make it, and it would be a huge fight. Be a much bigger fight than a Dubois versus Usyk rematch, although potentially that could be for undisputed as well, so there'd be quite a bit on the line. But can you imagine 100,000 at Wembley, Joshua and Fury? It's a big spectacle, and I think it's something that the sport needs at least before these guys sort of sail off into the sunset. In the next year or two, couple of years, they probably will be out of the sport. It's going to come quicker than I think some fans think. These guys have had pretty long and arduous careers, and that does take a toll. Anyway, what do you make of it? Drop a comment loud and often. Hit like, hit subscribe, follow me on Twitter. Boxing_squared. I'm out.